All right, joining me right now is Dr. Amesh Adalja, a senior scholar at Johns Hopkins University Center for Health Security. Doctor, good to see you. So, lots of people in California, clearly upset about the decision to close the beaches. In fact, the mayor of Newport Beach says that the decision is not supported by data. What's your response to that?
These are going to be very difficult decisions where there's not really a black or white answer. It's a lot of gray. And there is going to be, there needs to be data when you actually make these decisions. And we know that people on beaches can be relatively safe if they social distance, if those that are vulnerable are not coming to the beach, or if they are social distancing. But oftentimes there's a perception that people at the beach are going to be frolicking with each other and not observing that. And I think it's important that when we do close beaches, that there is data supporting the fact that this is what's necessary. And we encourage people, if they are going to a beach, that they still exhibit social distancing behaviors, because that's the best way to keep yourself from getting infected with this or spreading this virus.
Yeah, and every state's still trying to figure it all out. California, however, the governor has said out loud that he's actually thinking about, reopening some schools starting in July, whether it be, summer programs or even an early start to the new school year. Do you think it would be a good idea? Perhaps there are going to be smaller school districts, but is it a good idea that any school district could be entertaining that well before there is any kind of vaccine available or even breakthrough on treatments?
So closure of schools was always a controversial subject. This was something that was really divided many people in my field, that some people believe, for good reason, that closure of schools wasn't going to add much to our other social distancing measures. And we didn't quite understand the epidemiology of children, meaning we knew they got infected, but were they actually spreading this or magnifying it like they do for influenza? And that data is actually supportive of not closing schools or opening them back up. So I do think that Governor Newsom's idea to open schools earlier rather than later is something that's supported by the evidence, and I think it could be a good step. There may be some modifications at schools with social distancing, changing how the cafeteria or recess is handled, and making sure vulnerable employees are protected. But I do think that school opening is something that should be on the table.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Adalja, what do you think about this experimental drug, remdesivir? The FDA has issued an emergency use authorization, but how confident are you that it could successfully treat the virus?
I'm fairly confident that it does have a positive effect on those people who are infected with this virus and have severe illness and are in the hospital, and it helps them get out of the hospital faster, which is really important for hospital capacity. I know there are going to be people that are that their symptoms are too mild for this to benefit from. So we have to really figure out exactly which patients benefit the most from it. And I think that's what the emergency use authorization is about. Severe patients that are in the hospital can maybe get out of the hospital faster, relieve hospital capacity. And I think that's an important advance, because we didn't have anything to treat this with. And this is the first drug that we actually see evidence that it is beneficial. So I think it is something that people are celebrating.
All right, Dr. Amesh Adalja, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Stay well. All right, coming up at 2:30 right here on CNN, a panel